In 2023, the average UK house cost over £285,000. That's nearly 9 times the average salary. And yet, properties are sitting on the market for months, sometimes even years, with no offers. Why? Because buyers can't afford them, and sellers can't afford to lower the price. It's not just a housing crisis, it's a gridlock, and it's breaking the system. You might think this is just about high prices or not enough houses, but the truth goes deeper, and it's way more shocking than most people realize. What if I told you the system is designed to benefit everyone except you? That behind every unsold flat or rejected mortgage application, there are hidden forces, financial policies, private investors, land hoarding, and decisions made decades ago, working quietly in the background. Today, we're breaking down 10 brutal reasons why the UK housing market is completely stuck. From runaway interest rates to greedy developers and outdated policies, we're pulling back the curtain on all of it. So if you've ever asked, why can't I buy a house in the UK? Stay with me, the answers might just make your jaw drop. Number 1. Soaring interest rates. Let's start with one of the most immediate and painful reasons: interest rates. After years of ultra-low borrowing costs, the Bank of England has been hiking interest rates to fight inflation. That might sound like a good thing on paper, but for buyers and sellers, it's a nightmare. For buyers, it means mortgages are more expensive, way more expensive. A loan that would have cost £800 a month in 2021 might now cost £1,300 or more. That's hundreds of pounds every single month gone. For many would-be buyers, this makes owning a home completely out of reach, no matter how hard they've saved. But it doesn't stop there. Sellers are trapped too. When buyers disappear, sellers are forced to lower prices. But many don't want to, or simply can't, especially if they need to pay off a mortgage themselves. So, properties just sit. Stuck. Unsellable. Worse still, people who already own a home and want to move face a double blow. They can't sell without a loss, and they can't afford the higher mortgage on a new place. This is the chain reaction. High interest, fewer buyers, frozen sellers, collapsing demand. It's a vicious cycle that locks everyone in place. And here's the kicker. Even a small rate hike has a massive impact on mortgages. That's because most people borrow hundreds of thousands over decades. So when the base rate jumps from 0.1% to 5.25%, it's not just a stat, it's a financial earthquake. Number 2. Wages haven't kept up. Now let's talk about the biggest disconnect in the UK housing market: wages versus house prices. In the last 2 decades, average house prices have more than doubled. But wages, they've barely moved. Between 2002 and 2022, average house prices went from £120,000 to over £280,000. In that same time, average earnings rose by only about 30%. It's not just inflation, it's inequality on steroids. When the price of a home grows far faster than your paycheck, the gap becomes unbridgeable. That means even people with decent jobs are locked out of the market. They're not lazy, they're not irresponsible. The math just doesn't add up anymore. And here's the emotional side. Imagine working full-time, saving diligently, cutting costs, and still being told, you don't earn enough to buy. It's soul-crushing. This wage-price gap isn't just hurting first-time buyers, it's slowing down the entire property chain. If fewer people can move up the ladder, fewer homes are freed up at the bottom. Everything jams up. The government has talked a lot about affordable housing, but here's the thing. A home isn't affordable if you need to borrow 7 times your salary to buy it. Until wages start catching up with house prices, or prices come back to reality, the dream of homeownership will stay just that, a dream. If this hits home for you, leave a comment below. How much would you need to earn to afford a house in your area? Don't forget to subscribe. We've got more eye-opening facts next. Number 3. Stricter lending criteria. You've got the deposit. Your credit score looks fine. You even found a place that's not a total rip-off, but then your mortgage gets rejected. This isn't some rare horror story, it's becoming the norm. Since the 2008 financial crash, banks have been under pressure to lend responsibly. That sounds good in theory, but in practice, it means the hoops you have to jump through are getting tighter every year. Lenders now run stress tests on your income, not just for today's rates, but what you'd pay if rates shoot up. So even if you can clearly afford the mortgage now, they might still say no based on hypothetical future scenarios. And that's just the start. Got freelance income? That's a red flag. Gaps in employment? Another red flag. Even childcare costs or student loans can tip you over the line. The result? People who are financially stable on paper are being told they're too risky. Meanwhile, rent prices are higher than ever, but somehow paying £1,500 in rent every month is fine, while a £1,200 mortgage is too risky. It's frustrating, it's inconsistent, and it's shutting out a whole generation. Banks are more interested in protecting themselves than helping people buy homes. They treat lending like risk management, not opportunity. So what we're left with is a strange paradox. Thousands of people ready to buy and thousands of homes on the market, but nothing connects. It's not a housing shortage, it's a lending bottleneck, and no one seems willing to fix it. Number 4. Lack of affordable new builds. Let's bust a myth. The UK is building homes, just not the kind most people can actually afford. Drive past a new development and you'll see shiny show homes, marketing banners, and prices that make your eyes water. These aren't starter homes, they're luxury flats, executive builds, or aspirational living spaces. Catchy branding, sky-high prices. Developers aren't being evil, they're being strategic. High-end homes bring higher profit margins, so naturally they focus on what makes the most money. The problem? That leaves first-time buyers and average families completely priced out. The government sets annual housing targets, but they don't specify what type of housing should be built. So even when developers meet the numbers, they're not solving the problem. Building 300,000 homes a year sounds great, but if 80% of them are unaffordable, what's the point? And then there's land. The places where affordable homes are most needed, like commuter towns or city edges, are often choked by planning restrictions, infrastructure delays, or local opposition. Affordable housing quotas, often watered down or sidestepped through legal loopholes. So while the skyline fills with glass towers and gated estates, the people who actually need homes are stuck watching from the outside. This isn't just about supply, it's about the right kind of supply. And right now, the UK is getting it badly wrong. We need homes people can actually buy, not just admire on glossy brochures. Until that changes, the crisis will keep repeating itself, year after year. Number 5. Land banking by developers. Imagine this: acres of land with planning permission already approved, but not a single brick laid. No workers, no foundations, just empty fields surrounded by fences. That's land banking, and it's one of the biggest, most under-discussed reasons the UK housing market is broken. Big developers buy up massive plots of land, often years in advance, but instead of building right away, they sit on it. Why? Because as land becomes scarcer and prices rise, the land itself becomes more valuable, without lifting a finger. In other words, it's more profitable to wait. They drip-feed homes into the market at a pace that keeps demand high and supply tight. That way, prices stay inflated and profits stay fat, flooding the market with homes. That would lower prices, and they're not about to let that happen. This strategy creates a fake scarcity. It looks like we don't have enough homes, but in reality the land is there. It's just locked behind corporate strategy. And here's the kicker: some of these plots come with use it or lose it rules, but enforcement is weak. Deadlines get extended, fines are tiny, so the cycle continues. Meanwhile, councils get blamed for not approving enough homes. But what's the point of granting planning permission if nothing ever gets built? It's a strategy rooted in profit, not public need. And while these plots sit idle, local families wait years for homes, prices spiral, and communities miss out on growth that's literally sitting on their doorstep. Number 6. Overvalued property listings. Here's a frustrating reality: many homes in the UK just aren't worth what people are asking. Yet sellers, clinging to peak 2021 price tags, refuse to budge. They saw their neighbours sell a semi-detached for £450,000 2 years ago and think, mine's worth at least that. Never mind that interest rates have more than quadrupled since then. The result? Stale listings. Homes sitting on the market for 90, 120, even 180 days with no serious offers. And still no price cuts. This isn't just wishful thinking, it's denial. Sellers are emotionally attached to old valuations. Some need that high price to afford their next move. Others just refuse to believe the market has changed. Estate agents often don't help either. Many overvalue properties just to win the listing. They tell sellers what they want to hear, not what they need to know. And let's not forget the psychology of the market. If one overpriced home sits there too long, buyers start questioning the entire area. Demand stalls, momentum dies. We're not talking about tiny margins either. In some areas, asking prices are 10% to 20% higher than what banks are willing to lend against. That kills deals before they even start. Overvalued homes create a kind of limbo. Sellers won't lower. Buyers can't meet the price. Nothing moves. Many of those same sellers would never pay today's prices if they were buying. But everyone wants to believe their home is the exception, the one that's still worth top dollar. Number 7. Rental market pressure. When people can't buy homes, where do they go? They rent. And right now, the UK rental market is under serious pressure. In cities like London, Manchester, and Bristol, the demand for rental properties has exploded. Bidding wars for rentals, yes, rentals, have become common. People are offering £100 or £200 above the asking price just to secure a flat. It's madness. This surge in demand hasn't just pushed rents higher, it's reshaped the entire market. Landlords know they can charge more, and they do. In some areas, average rents have jumped by 20% or more in just a year. The problem is, these high rents make it harder for people to save for a deposit. It becomes a vicious cycle: can't buy, forced to rent, can't save, stuck renting. And it's not just first-time buyers being hit. Families, students, even professionals with good incomes. They're all feeling the squeeze. Some are moving further away from city centres, others are downsizing. A few are leaving cities altogether. This added pressure on the rental market also drives up competition for homes that would normally be considered starter homes. So even affordable options get priced up, because landlords are buying them to rent, not live in. And while all this is happening, more landlords are leaving the market due to tax changes and stricter regulations, reducing supply just when it's needed most. There's no safety valve left. Whether you're trying to buy or forced to rent, the pressure is relentless, and the system keeps tightening. Number 8. Investor-driven demand. There's a growing feeling in the UK housing market that homes aren't really for people anymore. They're for portfolios. Over the past decade, the property market has attracted a wave of investors. Overseas buyers, buy-to-let landlords, pension funds, even corporations. They're not looking for a place to live, they're looking for returns. In places like London, entire blocks of flats are bought up before they're even finished, by investors, not residents. Some never get lived in, they sit empty, appreciating in value, while thousands of locals hunt for basic accommodation. This investor-driven demand distorts prices. It creates artificial scarcity. When developers know they can sell luxury flats to foreign buyers or rent them out at inflated prices, why bother building affordable homes for local families? Buy-to-let landlords, meanwhile, scoop up what used to be starter homes, pricing out young people trying to get on the ladder. They outbid families with cash offers, then rent those same homes back to them, at a premium. This isn't just happening at the high end of the market. It's happening everywhere, in cities, towns, even rural areas. And let's not forget, these investment properties often sit dark, contributing nothing to the local community. No lights on, no kids playing, just ghost buildings with price tags. Until there's serious reform, whether through regulation, taxes, or restrictions on foreign ownership, investor-driven demand will keep bending the market away from ordinary people and toward profit. The more homes are treated like gold bars instead of places to live, the worse the crisis becomes. Number 9. Policy inertia and bureaucracy. If you've ever wondered why it takes so long to get anything built in the UK, the answer is wrapped in red tape. Planning permissions can take months, even years, to get approved. Councils are understaffed, local objections stall projects, appeals drag on forever. Meanwhile, demand keeps rising and nothing gets built. It's not just slow, it's outdated. The UK's planning system was designed for a different era, one with less population pressure less demand, and far fewer financial stakes. Today, it's overwhelmed. Even when the government announces bold new housing targets, the implementation is clunky. Policies change with every election. Promises are made, then quietly abandoned. Incentives for affordable housing often get diluted or reversed under industry lobbying. There's also a deep disconnect between national and local priorities. Central government pushes for growth, but local councils face fierce opposition from residents who don't want new developments in their backyard. So things get stuck, caught between political caution and public resistance. This inertia leads to inconsistent zoning, fragmented strategies, and missed opportunities. Good ideas die on desks. Viable projects collapse under paperwork. Meanwhile, developers play the long game, navigating loopholes, filing extensions, resubmitting applications, until the clock runs out on public resistance. And in that time, the need only grows more urgent. Housing isn't a vote winner. Politicians know serious reform could upset homeowners, developers, or voters. So they stall. Delay becomes default. Until housing policy is treated with real urgency, backed by long-term commitment, the crisis will stay exactly where it is, tangled in bureaucracy, starved of bold action, and stuck in a cycle of delay. Number 10. Market psychology and uncertainty. Sometimes it's not just about money or policies, it's about mindset. Right now, many people are afraid to make a move, buyers and sellers alike, and that fear is paralyzing the entire housing market. Sellers are holding out for yesterday's prices. They don't want to lose by accepting less than what their home was worth 2 years ago. They'd rather wait, even if it means waiting forever. Buyers, on the other hand, are afraid of overpaying. With constant talk of a housing crash, rising interest rates, and economic instability, many are choosing to sit tight. They think prices will fall, so they delay. Everyone's waiting for a better deal. But when everyone waits, nothing happens. Listings go stale, chains collapse, confidence disappears. Even those who are ready to act get spooked by the silence. This is what economists call a sentiment-driven freeze. It's not caused by lack of demand or supply, but by fear and hesitation. Psychology matters in housing, more than most people realize. Because homes aren't just investments, they're emotional. They're tied to security, identity, even pride. And in uncertain times, people don't take risks with something that personal. And let's be honest, the media doesn't help. Every week, headlines swing between house prices set to soar and housing crash imminent. That kind of noise creates paralysis. Nobody knows who to believe, so they wait and do nothing. It's not irrational, it's human. But the more people hesitate, the deeper the freeze becomes. The housing crisis isn't just about numbers, it's about real people stuck in a broken system. So tell us, which of these reasons hit you the hardest? Drop a comment. Your voice matters more than ever. If you found this video eye-opening, check out our last one for even more insights the mainstream media won't show you. We pour hours into making these videos to bring you the truth. So if you want to support us, hit that subscribe button. It's just one click, but it means the world to us.